can see that they've done a comparison of affordable housing players versus the normal housing players, right? And there's a lot of points here, but I'll just focus on point number 2. Okay, high surrogate usage to derive the income of borrowers, and whereas the other one is very minimal usage of surrogates. Let me ask an audience question here. What are surrogates and how is it used? Anybody? Anybody who wants to venture an answer?
Anyone who wants to say what is surrogate or what do you mean by surrogate usage? You may raise your hand or you can just type in the chat box. So today,
Okay.
Nandakishore has raised his hand. Let me just unmute him. Just a second. Yeah, Nandakishore, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think surrogacy is basically like being born in some other person's womb. So that is surrogacy.
Okay, so
So
what
in
do
this
you mean over
context,
here?
so in this context, it could be that basically the bigger banks use them as their prior sector lending and then take their loans, and the loan is reduced in that essence.
No, Nandkishore, that's not the answer. Um, so here what surrogate means is, so these are people who come from with informal income. Okay, so it could be, let's say, your barber, right, or it could be your tailor, right? So these are people who don't have proper income documents, right? So you will use surrogates in the form of, you will go and visit their shop, you will try to see how many customers they get, right? You will talk to people around that shop to ask, does he get good customers? I mean, does he get a good number of customers? Does he open his shop on time? Does he attend to his customers, right? And so on, right? So these are not, you are asking qualitative questions because you don't have hard documents to prove that. Okay, that Sudhin Choksi story, right? In that there is a one anecdote. It said that, so when Sudhin Choksi was like turning around Group Finance, right? He would go and sit with bhajiawalas and he would try to learn more about their business, right? To say, okay, how much income does he get, right? And then he would use that in his credit underwriting mechanism. There is another story where he says that they found a dhobi, and this dhobi had not lost a shirt in 20 years, right? And they said, okay, so if he's the kind of person who's very careful and who doesn't lose, who has never lost a shirt in 20 years, then he's probably going to return your money as well with interest. So he would rate very highly on the credit underwriting score. So surrogates are, like this qualitative things that you would use because you don't have hard evidence. Okay.
Let me just jump in and give a very relevant example. कि अगर आप समझ लो आप एक पुचका वाला या पानी पूरी वाले के पास जाते हो and you just ask him, okay, how many pani puri do you sell? So he doesn't have any income statement, he doesn't pay any tax, right? So how you will do it? You will try to do unit economics यहाँ पे कि कितने पुचका या पानी पूरी सेल होता है and एक पुचका का कितना लगता है, and you do calculation like that, and how does he manage all those stuff. So when you sit with them, as Vikas said regarding the bhajia wala, he used to, and he was talking about bhajia wala because this guy started in Gujarat, जहाँ पे bhajia wala ज़्यादा है, right? So the point over here is that India is, and we discussed that while we discussed on this the 9 points which Jairam Sridharan also mentioned, कि India is full of self-employed people, unlike the West. So we have to We just can't say, or as a banker or as a person who is going to lend, you just can't say that, okay, इनका income statement नहीं है, taxes pay नहीं करते, so we can't lend them. You have to take that extra mile and go and find out, so that it becomes easier for you to understand their behavior, their pattern, and based on that, you can lend to them. Yeah, sorry, Vikas, I interrupted, but I thought that I should.
Fantastic points, Ankit. So friends, I'll just jump in with a small joke that I had heard a long time ago. So there was this person, there was a shoe company, and they sent one salesman to an island. They said, this island has a big population. I think we can sell a lot of shoes. So why don't you go and try and sell shoes? So he went to the island. He saw a lot of tribal people, and all of them were walking bare feet, right? And so he immediately said, okay, these are people, how will they don't even know the concept of shoes. How will I even sell them? Right? So he called up the headquarters and he said, they don't know anything about shoes. So, it's a waste of time. So I want to come back to the mainland now. Right? So then he went to the mainland. And so now they sent a second sales guy. And he went to the island and he saw tribal people there walking bare feet. And he immediately called up the headquarters and he said, look, just send me all the shoes that you have. These are people who don't have shoes and I can sell every single pair to them. Right? So affordable housing finance is a little bit like the second guy, where you are saying that the size of the opportunity is huge, right? You just need to know how to sell it, right? If you sit in the headquarters, you will probably say, I can't sell it, it's so difficult. Every town is so small and so on, right? But if you actually go onto the ground and do all the hard work, you can find a way to sell. You will find people who need homes and financing for those homes, right?